My fiancé's parents said, "You need to sign this prenup that leaves you with nothing." She nodded and said, "It's just a formality." I replied, "Then let's formalize it." The room went silent when I added my own clause. I, 29 male, thought I was living the dream. Engaged to Natalie, 26, beautiful ring on her finger, wedding planned for next spring. We'd been together 3 years, living together for 1. Everything seemed perfect until last Tuesday when her parents invited us for dinner. Should have known something was up when her father, Gregory, insisted we come over for a formal discussion about the future. The man owned a chain of high-end furniture stores and never let anyone forget it. We arrived at their mini mansion around 6 p.m. Her mother, Patricia, greeted us with air kisses and guided us to Gregory's study instead of the dining room. Red flag number 1. Sit. Sit, Gregory said, gesturing to chairs across from his massive oak desk. Like we were there for a job interview. Natalie squeezed my hand. "Daddy, what's this about?" He slid a thick document across the desk. A prenuptial agreement. Standard procedure in our family. I picked it up, started flipping through. "Okay, I'm not opposed to prenups in principle. Good. Just sign on the last page. Our lawyer prepared everything." "I'll need to read it first." Patricia laughed. "Oh honey, it's all legal jargon. Basically just says what's yours stays yours, what's hers stays hers." But that's not what it said. Not even close. As I read, my stomach dropped. This wasn't a prenup. It was a financial execution. If we divorced for any reason, I'd get nothing from assets accumulated during marriage. No spousal support, regardless of circumstances. Any gifts from her family would be considered loans, repayable immediately. If we had kids, she'd get automatic full custody. I'd be responsible for her attorney fees. Her student loans, $85,000 worth, would become my responsibility. Any joint property would default to her. "This is extensive," I said carefully. Gregory leaned back. "We protect our assets in this family. Natalie's trust fund, her inheritance, the family business, all needs protection. I understand that. But this goes beyond protecting premarital assets. This says if she buys a house during our marriage with money she earns from her job, I have no claim to it." "Correct. But if I buy anything, it's marital property." "You're catching on." I looked at Natalie. "You've read this?" She shrugged. "It's just a formality, babe. We're never getting divorced anyway, right?" "Then why does it matter what it says?" Patricia interjected. "Every marriage needs insurance. This is ours." "Insurance usually protects both parties. This only protects Natalie." "Well," Gregory smirked, "she's the one with assets to protect." I set the document down. "I make $75 a year. I've saved responsibly. I'm not after your money." "Then signing should be no problem," Patricia said sweetly. "You're right. Let's formalize it properly. I'll have my lawyer add some clauses of my own." The room went silent. "That's not how this works," Gregory said slowly. "Why not? If it's just a formality, if we're never divorcing, what's the harm in making it fair?" Natalie pulled her hand away from mine. "Fair? I'm bringing family money to this marriage. What are you bringing?" "My salary, my savings, my 401k, my car, my—" "Peanuts," Gregory interrupted. "Compared to what Natalie stands to inherit, then you have nothing to worry about for my additions." "What additions?" Patricia asked. I pulled out my phone, opened my notes app. "Well, if we're formalizing things, infidelity clause, if either party cheats, they forfeit all marital assets. Effort clause, both parties must maintain employment or forfeit support. Addiction clause." "This is ridiculous." Natalie stood up. "Just sign the paper." "Why? We're never getting divorced, right? So why does it matter what protections I want?" Gregory's face was turning red. "Because you're nobody. You think you can waltz in here and make demands? You should be grateful Natalie even looks at you." There it was, the truth. Grateful? I stood too. "I love your daughter. I've supported her through her career changes, her anxiety, her money makes all that irrelevant," Patricia said coldly. "Sign the prenup or the wedding's off." I looked at Natalie, really looked at her, waiting for her to defend me, defend us. She crossed her arms. "They're right, just sign it. If you really loved me, you'd sign it. If you really loved me, you wouldn't ask me to sign something that treats me like a gold digger who deserves nothing." "Drama queen," she muttered. I nodded slowly. "Okay, I'll sign it." Relief washed over their faces. "On one condition, I add just one clause." "Absolutely not," Gregory started. "One clause," I repeated. Since we're never getting divorced, it won't matter anyway, right, Natalie? She hesitated, then nodded. What clause? A sunset provision. After 10 years of marriage, the entire prenup becomes void. What? All three of them shouted. If we make it 10 years, clearly the marriage is solid. No need for protection anymore. That defeats the entire purpose. Gregory slammed his hand on the desk. I thought the purpose was protecting premarital assets. After 10 years, surely I've proven I'm not after those. You could just wait 10 years and then divorce her, Patricia accused. So you think I'd waste 10 years of my life for money? That's what you think of me. Natalie was pacing now. This is stupid. Just sign the original. No, add the sunset clause or no deal. Then there's no wedding, she screamed. Okay. Update 1. That okay broke something in Natalie. She went from angry to nuclear in seconds. You're throwing us away over money. She was crying now, but they were angry tears. I'm not. I'm refusing to sign a document that says I'm worthless to you. Same thing. Is it though? I left that night with Natalie screaming at me to come back and be reasonable. Her parents just watched with smug satisfaction, probably thinking I'd cave by morning. I didn't. Instead, I went home to our shared apartment and started thinking. Really thinking. About our entire relationship through a new lens. How she'd insisted on keeping finances completely separate, but expected me to pay for most dates because the man should provide. How her parents always made little comments about my job, my car, my family. How Natalie never defended me, just said I was being sensitive. By morning, I'd made a decision, but first I needed information. I called my buddy Trevor, who worked in finance. Hey, can you explain trust funds to me? Turns out, Natalie's trust wasn't as ironclad as they pretended. She got monthly distributions, but the principal was controlled by her parents until she turned 30 or got married, whichever came first. After marriage, she'd get full control. Suddenly, the prenup made more sense, and so did the rush to get married. Natalie came home that afternoon, looking haggard. We need to talk. Agreed. I spoke to Daddy. He's willing to modify the prenup slightly. You'd get $50 if we divorce after 5 years. Generous. Don't be sarcastic. It's more than you'd have otherwise. Natalie, do you know why your parents are so insistent on this specific prenup? To protect family assets. No, to ensure you get your trust fund while keeping me from having any claim to it. Her face went pale. That's not. You get full control when you marry. That's why we're rushing the wedding. That's why the prenup is so aggressive. They want you to have access to the money but ensure I never do. So what? It's my money. Then why not wait until you're 30? Why the rush to marry? She was quiet. How much debt are you actually in, Nat? That's none of your. It's in the prenup that your debt becomes mine, so it's very much my business. She crumbled, started crying for real this time. It's not just student loans. I have credit card debt, about $40. Jesus, from what? Living expenses. Daddy gives me an allowance, but it's not enough for the lifestyle you want, for the lifestyle I deserve. There it was again. That entitlement. So the plan was, marry me, get your trust, pay off your debts, and keep me locked in with a prenup that ensures I get nothing if we split? It's not like that. I love you. Do you? Or do you love that I'm stable enough to marry but not wealthy enough to fight back? She slapped me, hard. How dare you? I touched my cheek. I'll be staying at Trevor's tonight. We need space to think. If you leave, we're done. Then we're done. Update 2. The next 3 weeks were insane. Natalie went through the entire playbook. Day 1 to 3. Love bombing. Texts about how sorry she was, how much she loved me, how we could work it out, flowers delivered to my office, showing up at Trevor's with my favorite takeout. Day 4 to 7. Anger. When love bombing failed, she got vicious. Told everyone I was a gold digger who refused to sign a standard prenup. Posted on social media about how I revealed my true colors when money was involved. Day 8 to 14. Bargaining. Her parents reached out. New prenup offer, $75K after 5 years, $100K after 7. Each one still awful, just slightly less awful. I declined them all. Day 15 to 21. Extinction burst. This is where it got interesting. First, she tried to get me fired. Called my boss claiming I was emotionally unstable and threatening. Lucky for me, my boss knew me better than that and called me immediately. Hey Nathan, just got a weird call from your fiancée? Ex-fiancée. What did she say? That you've been harassing her and she's concerned you might do something at work. I haven't contacted her in 2 weeks. I figured, just document everything, okay? Then came the apartment situation. The lease was in my name only, but she'd been living there for a year. She refused to move out. I have tenant rights, she screamed when I asked her to leave. You don't pay rent, you're a guest? I'll sue. With what money? Your credit cards are maxed. That's when she got creative. Started inviting people over at all hours, parties on weeknights, random guys showing up for dates that she'd make sure I saw. I documented everything. Every party, every guest, every intentional disruption. Building security was very helpful. Turns out they didn't like her much either. But the real kicker came when I got a call from my credit card company. Sir, we're calling about unusual activity on your account. Did you authorize a $5,000 purchase at Nordstrom? No, I did not. We'll freeze the card immediately. Natalie had taken a photo of my credit card months ago for emergencies. Apparently, revenge shopping counted as an emergency. I filed a police report. Credit card fraud is a felony. Update 3. When the police showed up to question Natalie about the credit card fraud, her parents went ballistic. Gregory called me personally. You need to drop this immediately. Why would I do that? Because we can make your life very difficult. More difficult than identity theft and false workplace accusations? You have no idea who you're messing with. A furniture store owner with delusions of grandeur? He hung up. But here's where Natalie's entitlement finally bit her in the ass. See, she hadn't just stolen from me. Trevor did some digging and found out she'd been doing this for years. Little amounts here and there from various boyfriends. Never enough to prosecute, just enough to supplement her lifestyle. Except this time, she'd gotten greedy and sloppy. The detective assigned to my case was very interested when I mentioned her pattern. Even more interested when 2 of her exes came forward with similar stories after I posted about it in a local Facebook group. Suddenly, Natalie was facing multiple fraud charges. Her parents' lawyer reached out within 48 hours. My clients are prepared to offer a substantial settlement to make this go away. I'm listening. $200,000, all charges dropped, NDAs all around. No, I want $500,000 and a written apology, and Natalie agrees to get financial counseling. That's extortion. That's consequences. Your client committed multiple felonies. I'm offering a way out. They paid. Of course they paid. Because Daddy's little princess couldn't have a criminal record. It would ruin her chances of marrying rich someday. The money was nice, but the real satisfaction came from the apology letter Natalie was forced to write. 3 pages of admitting to everything. The fraud, the lies, the manipulation. Her parents made her write it to protect themselves legally, not realizing I'd keep copies forever. The best part? The trust fund issue. See, there was a morality clause in the trust. Any criminal conviction would forfeit her access until she was 40. By threatening her with prosecution, I'd accidentally locked her out of her money for another 14 years. Her parents were furious. Patricia actually showed up at my work. You've ruined her life. She ruined her own life. I just refuse to be collateral damage. She'll never forgive you. Good, I don't want her forgiveness. You're a monster. I'm a man who refused to be used. If that makes me a monster, I'll wear the title proudly. It's been 6 months now. Natalie moved back in with her parents. Last I heard, they were trying to find her a new rich husband, but word had gotten out about the fraud situation. Turns out rich guys don't like gold diggers who steal from their partners. Ironic. I used part of the settlement to buy a house. Cash. The rest is invested. I'm dating again, a teacher named Melissa, who thinks prenups are totally reasonable when they're actually fair. Sometimes I think about that night in Gregory's study. How different my life would be if I just signed. I'd be married to a woman who saw me as worthless, probably drowning in her debt, definitely miserable. Instead, I'm free, financially stable, and I know my worth. The prenup was meant to protect them and destroy me. In the end, it did the opposite. Guess that's what happens when you try to formalize inequality. Sometimes the person you're trying to screw over reads the fine print.